Hope everyone's doing great. This is Jay from J&D's Retirement Journey. Today we're going to try to figure out who is the best S&P 500 fund. Is it Vanguard, the S&P 500 VU EFT? Is it the Spider S&P 500 EFT Trust? Is it Schwab S&P 500 Index? Is it Fidelity 500 Index Fund? Is it the iShares Core S&P 500 EFT? We're going to dig in and see who wins. And if you guys love this type of video, please hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Starting off with VU. It's an EFT. Total assets, $936.5 billion. Inception date was 9/7/2010. The Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund. It's a mutual fund. Total assets, $76.9 billion. Inception 5/19/97. Fidelity 500 Index Fund, mutual fund. Total assets, $447.4 billion. Inception 5/4/2011. The iShares Core S&P 500 EFT, $378.4 billion in assets. Inception 5/15/2000. The Spider S&P 500 EFT Trust, $436.4 billion. Inception 1/22/1993. So the biggest fund here is VU. I'm going to leave a link to a video I made, VU versus the Schwab S&P 500 fund, in the description. Let's go into the fund strategy. They're all going to be the same, so I'm just going to read you one. The investment seeks to track the performance of the Standard & Poor's 500 index that measures the investment return of large cap stocks. The fund employs an indexing investment approach designed to track the performance of the S&P 500 index, a widely recognized benchmark of U.S. stock market performance that is dominated by the stocks of large U.S. companies. Let's take a look at the fees and expenses. VU 0.03, the Schwab S&P 500 0.02, the Fidelity Fund 0.015, IVV, the iShares, it's 0.03, and the SPY is 0.945. So right off the bat, I would say SPY is out. The fees are too high. They're S&P 500 funds. They should all do the same, basically, you know. So we go down the list at the quotes as of 12/8. It was $421 for VU, about $70 for the Schwab fund, $158 for Fidelity. iShares was at $460 and the SPY was at $458. The yield, distribution yield, 148. It's quarterly for VU. I just received my Schwab S&P 500 dividend today, 1.38, and it's annually. Fidelity is quarterly at 1.47. IVV, the iShares, it's a buck, 1%, 1.46 quarterly, and SPY is 1.43 quarterly. Risk and returns. Debate is 1, right down the middle. That's what you like to see it. Anything above 1 is a little riskier, and below 1 is very conservative. So 1's fine. Initial minimums. The EFTs, you have to buy shares. For Schwab, you could buy partial shares, just $1. But some of these funds do have a minimum. Only Fidelity, actually. Basic brokerage account, $2,500. IRAs, $1,000, and custodials, $1,000. As we shoot over to see what Morningstar says about these funds, They're basically 5 and 4-star rated funds. They're all good funds. Historic returns basically all high, and the historic risk is average across the board. As we look at the growth of a $10,000 investment over 10 years, I like to go far. They all did the same. It's S&P 500 fund. You tripled your money. So that's why I lean towards S&P 500 funds, because they usually do better than everything else. As we go into the portfolio makeup, VU, as you can see, has 936 billion total holdings. That's going to be over a little bit over 500 for all of them. The turnover is 2%. Top 10 assets in the top percent of assets in top 10 is 31%, and it's basically all in stocks. The S&P 500 fund, the Schwab, almost 77 billion, 503, 2% turnover. The top 10 assets, it's about 31. They all about the same, 31 down the list, and they all got about almost everything in stocks. So you guys could read the rest. I'm gonna shoot over to the actual holdings, and they all have the same holdings. It might be, and it's all about the same percentages. So I'm just gonna read one for you guys. You got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Meta, Google Class C, Berkshire Hathaway, Tesla, and United Health. As we go over to the sector weightings, you guys could see it's usually IT, which is always the most, and you got healthcare, financials. You could go down the list. It's all going to be the same percentages across the board. It's basically all giant, large, and medium companies, and it's basically all in North America. All these funds are good funds, but SPY, because of the fees, in my opinion, it's a no-go. I personally own Schwab because the fee's 0.02. Fidelity comes in less, but you have minimums to open the account. If you guys have that money, I would go with that because the fee is less. But I've been with Schwab for years, so I stick with Schwab. But VU, it's a popular fund, and a lot of people invest in it. So, if you don't mind paying 0.01 more, you go with VU, but I like the Schwab fund. All this information is right off the Charles Schwab website. You could use any broker to get this information. Before you invest in anything, talk with your financial planner, do your research. I am not a financial planner. Thanks for watching.